All right, guys, welcome to the Media Hijack Podcast. I'm your host, Billy Walters, and joining me is Chris Unholy Jesus.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Media Hijack, episode 152. Tonight's main topic, we're going to be talking about the Morgellons disease.
Yes.
And ET Nanotechnology.
Teach us, because I know nothing about it.
And how it all incorporates with each other. And the more I look into this Morgellons disease, the weirder it gets. Like, it gets weirder and weirder. To where I'm thinking, like, can I even say some of these things?
I didn't even know it existed until, like, today. I was like, let me just take a peek. I was like, I'm going to let Billy explain to me later, but it looks scary.
I heard the name being thrown out a lot on other podcasts. Like, I thought it was just like any other disease, like, because I think it does ties into like Lyme disease also. Like, it's like similar with like Lyme disease. Like, if you have Morgellons, you have like Lyme disease. So I'm gonna be explaining like what exactly like Morgellons disease, what it is, and then we're gonna get into like the weird aspects of it, like why is it kind of considered like an alien technology, like an off-world technology.
It ain't from here.
Yeah, because more science is showing that this thing like it shouldn't exist, and if it did, like where did it come from?
Yeah, not from here. Is that what they're saying? Like,
not from here.
The design is not of this earth. All right.
Yeah, it's weird. It has like a conscience, like the disease. It's weird. All right. So before we get started, if you guys want to get some official Media Hijack t-shirts, you can head over to the MediaHijack.com, grab you some official t-shirts. And for audio listeners, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Leave us a nice comment. We need some comments on our audio platform on iTunes or Apple.
Please comment.
Yeah, or just give the 5-star. It's free.
It's free.
It's like giving us a hug.
It is virtually a virtual hug.
A virtual hug. All right. Let's get started. All right. So, what is this Morgellons disease? All right. So, Morgellons disease is actually controversial. It's a condition that's characterized by individuals who believe that they have like fibers or unusual particles grown out of like their body.
Ooh.
And other people who has Morgellons disease, they also describe bugs like crawling out of their skin, like black bugs and stuff, and inside their body. So they're being like tormented by whatever this is.
Bugs are crawling out of my skin. It's like somebody on some shit.
They're definitely not making up this stuff, because a lot of people are suffering from this disease because like this disease is not even like the doctors don't even like consider it like an official disease,
right? Because
like it's almost like nothing that's actually backing it up, even after they did all their research. But these people, they're claiming to have like these little fibers just growing out their skin, and then there's like evidence of a lot of people on video where it shows like these fibers coming out like their neck, their arm, and they're pulling out the fibers like.
So fibers is like in a string, like a type.
Yeah, like a string, like something you find like in your pillow, like it's a nylon string.
Almost, or maybe like a kind of like a spider web or something. That's what I was thinking, but it's not exactly silk.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like a silk, like a thin nylon string.
Okay.
And then it got to the point where, they would visit like over 20 doctors, right? Out of all those doctors, 19 of them would be like, yeah, I think you're suffering from like delusional, or like what's the word, like where you're like you're seeing what's the word?
When you like did you seeing shit?
Yeah, like hallucinating, or
hallucinating. Yeah, I guess it's hallucinating.
Yeah, there's like another word for it. What's up, Katie Long? Katie says,
oh, Katie, you are early. What's up?
Yeah, she's like super early. Either she's early or she's at the end.
Yes.
There's a good movie with Michael Shannon called Bug. Same theme.
Is that new? I think I might have heard that movie. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably like the same thing. Like, because a lot of people, they say like they feel like bugs crawling out of their bodies and stuff. But, like I guess when they're actually going to like to the doctors, to get diagnosed and stuff, like they're not finding no signs of these bugs or whatever. It's almost like they disappear, like, I'm out, right? And then they go back home, they feel like crawling in their body. Like, can you imagine that, right?
Just moving under your skin.
Yeah, but you don't know exactly what it is, because it goes in and out, and then it's coming, and then it's gone. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Am I fucking tripping out? It's like that.
The only time I've heard like just people feeling like bugs crawling under their skin or coming out of eyeballs and ears.
People on meth and shit.
Yeah, like on heroin and shit.
Yeah.
Like that type of feel. Like when they go through like withdrawal, but I mean, is it now? I'm like, it was. Are everyone that was like, is everyone that was addicted to it going through withdrawal going through that, or is it just like Magellan? That's what I'm thinking just now. It sounds similar to that.
Well, it does sound like similar to somebody that's using like a drug. Because I had a friend that used drugs. I forgot what drug it was. It's probably meth or whatever. but he was telling me that, like, dude, that shit's so crazy. Like, he literally see like bugs crawling out his skin, and then he would try to pick at it.
Oh yeah, they make scabs. That's how they get scabs. Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's probably meth. But then, like the story, like with people with Magellan is different. They're not on drugs or anything, and they're like experiencing like these same type of like symptoms of, that what people are going through if they're using like drugs like meth or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's like normal family people, even like their kids and everybody's like affected, and they're not. I don't think they're delusional. They're actually going through like some type of pain because you can actually see like puncture wounds, but it's from like the inside out. It's not. They're not physically causing it. Because they went to certain doctors where they actually believe the patients. Like, yeah, we believe you. We're going to, like, study deeper into this Morgellons disease. Because it's so, like, mysterious,
Yeah, because you can tell if somebody's digging in their skin versus something coming out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So they look, like, deeper with microscopes. They're like, yeah, it doesn't look like this is self-inflicted. It looks more like something that's coming from, like, the inside out, And they're like, what the fuck is it? It's so mysterious. They're like, this shit it's kind of like magic. Like what's happening to them. Because come on, you get like fibers growing out of your body. But another weird thing about these fibers, right? Like they actually took some of the fibers, they got it tested at a lab, and then some people at the lab were saying like, we put like high heat on it, right, to burn it. They can't even burn it.
Is that strong?
Yeah, it's like some fucking Spider-Man shit.
So stronger than fire? Yeah, for real. Right?
I was like,
that's what I was thinking.
I was like, okay, if that's true, right? If they're finding these findings that, these fibers that they carry different properties from like a regular like nylon string, like wouldn't you actually look deeper into it instead of calling patients like crazy, like stop calling these people crazy, and then actually like do like a legit investigation on what exactly is going on?
Yeah, what's going on with their body, man?
Yeah, so like the thing is, a lot of people, they came forward like with the, these so many people came and said, hey, I got like some weird shit happening to me. So they put them down as like Morgellons disease, right? And then there's so many cases about it. The CDC, they jumped in. And then the CDC, they did their own study. I think like they did it like maybe like 2008 or some shit. And then they did the study for like a few years where they studied like over like 120 different cases of people. And then at the end of it, they're like, yeah, like what? In conclusion, we feel like this is not like a legit disease. This is more like a delusional. Like they're suffering from like some type of like a kind of like schizophrenia. Like just not really happening to them.
Right.
But something is happening.
Something is happening, but
they can't really prove like something physically is happening to them.
So they sound like, hey, like
as far as like with their skin and shit.
Yeah, I was about to say. So like, I just trying to say like, because it's schizophrenic, they're like damaging themselves or
psychosis.
Oh, like what do they do to themselves? Because my thing is like, did the CDC really just not know, or did they know, or
parasitosis? That's what it's called.
What's it called? Parasitosis?
Yeah, the professionals are calling it a delusional parasitosis.
Oh, okay. I thought it was in the chat.
Yeah, I read the chat too.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but then my notes.
Parasitosis. Okay,
yeah,
so
it's
like a fear that something is growing in you. I'm assuming this is what parasitosis is. Like you have a fear that like something's inside of you.
Yeah, like a parasite.
Yeah, like a parasite, and it's like coming out of your skin now. Like,
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
And even like they went to like a whole bunch of like dermatologists and stuff, and then they're saying like the causes of the fibers could be like from like environmental factors. Like let's say you just like chilling on pillows and shit, and you get like little fibers on you. The doctors even went as far as to saying like these people are literally putting fibers on their arms before they go to the doctors to get checked out. Like anybody want to fucking go to a doctor.
Seriously, like they're gluing to the skin, like, oh look.
Yeah, they're like, these guys are crazy. They're like gluing these fibers on their arm, then they're going to get checked out at dermatologists. Because like when you get a dermatologist, right? They're looking at your arm like, hey, why'd you put this nylon pillow shit in your arm? They're like, it's coming out of my arms. Like, no, it ain't. Like, prove it, Billy.
I'm like, you can tell, man. You don't see no damn dried up glue.
I'm like, you don't think I want to be at home playing Street Fighter? You know? I'm out here at the doctor's office. I want to get help. I'm not out here like.
I took a day off for this.
I didn't pretend put some Elmer's glue and just. All right, let's stick some nylon like strings in my arm.
You think I want to take time out of my day to come down here?
Like, what about these bugs? Like, explain these bug marks. What bug marks?
They were like, it's like different party city. Like, what? What are you talking about?
You're like, I got Morgellons. I got Morgellons disease. Like, that's not even real. That's not even a real thing, Billy.
No, Magilla Gorilla, I don't know what that is, but you get up out of here.
Morgellon your ass out.
Mongolian ass out of here.
But like the crazy thing is, like after CDC say like it's not official, like this is actually official disease, even all the doctors went on board and like, yeah, that's not a real thing. But then like the people who are suffering, they're like, what the hell, man? Like, you think we want to do this? Like, we're not trying to do it for no gain from. They're all suffering, dude. And the crazy thing is, I was listening to Coast AM where a guy on there, his name is Christopher like Macklin. He's been studying like Morgellons disease for over 14 years, and in his conclusion, right, the crazy weird thing about this Morgellons shit, he's saying like these fibers are actually like alive. It's not dead. It's alive, and it's like a parasite that grows inside your body, and it feeds off like the inside of your body. But not only that, it's like it's a technology. Like, it's not even like
it's not even organic.
It's not even like an organic thing. It's like a machine. He's saying like, holy shit, this is like a technology. Because here's the crazy thing about that, right? 'Cause there's like bugs that the people say that crawls out their skin, right?
Right.
Like they'll show up and they don't show up. But he actually seen like a bug crawling out this dude's skin, right? They were able to take that bug from the skin and they put it under like a electron microscope to get like deeper into it. And the crazy thing is, right, what he said, just from his mouth, not mine, he said he looked through it in a microscope and there's a U.S. patent number on this bug.
So it's a machine.
Yeah, it's like a machine. He was saying like, holy shit, there's a fucking U.S. patent number. And they looked up the U.S. patent number and it links up to a company that I think we know who this company is. I'll let you guess.
This designing this?
Yeah, either they designed it or they came across of this technology, but they patent it with the U.S. patent system.
Is it CRISPR?
Oh shit, close.
Oh.
Smart guy. It's DARPA.
Shit, yeah.
But CRISPR does have like
ties with them.
Yeah, CRISPR has like some ties with it because it's all about DNA manipulation and modifying the DNA genetically and shit. So DARPA, if you look up like the U.S. patent number on that bug, it links back up to DARPA. And let me tell you a little bit about DARPA if you guys don't know who they are. So DARPA stands for Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. It's an agency of the United States Department of Defense, and it is responsible for developing and promoting like cutting edge technology for national security purposes.
Yes.
So a company like that, big deal, big government company. They do cutting edge technology. Like they're like the one that do all the new shit.
They're the big ones. The first time I ever heard of DARPA was way back when I was a little child and I was playing Metal Gear Solid, and DARPA was the ones that designed the Metal Gear Solid giant robot. There was like all for like defense purposes and cutting edge technology, and they made it so like DARPA was the villains in the game. Which I mean, in a lot of ways they probably are. They make like a lot of wild shit. So
anything like cutting edge, like if you would think like, let's say for example like Bluetooth technology or whatever, like it's been developed by like companies like DARPA, like all this really advanced technology, and then finding like the U.S. patent number that links them to DARPA from like a bug that grows like under your skin where they're saying it's fake and stuff. That gives you like, you're into a whole nother rabbit hole now.
Yeah, for real.
Because imagine seeing that, like, what the fuck? Like, so this all ties in, like, with the government and shit. So it gets more weird. And then you're thinking, like, okay, this Morgellons thing.
I'm like, how weird does it get?
Dude, it's so weird. Like, this guy is even saying to the part where, like the technology is it's so weird that he's saying like it's not even developed on this earth. He's saying this type of technology is developed off world, like in another planet somewhere, and it was brought over here and it was given to the U.S. government. Like he's saying all these wild things now. He's saying that the gray aliens were the one that gave like this technology to the U.S. government, and the U.S. government is using this technology on the humans, us and stuff. And he's also saying that we're probably already affected by it because we've been ingesting because you can get it through just from eating whatever food. And you know how like all these foods are like genetically modified and stuff. Let's say like the Morgellons shit is already in us. It's not.
This is dormant. I guess.
Yeah, it's like dormant until something wake me up. You know.
So what would trigger it then?
I don't know, a trigger word or something. Abracadabra.
Oh shit! They're coming out.
Or just like the idea of knowing about it. Like us talking about it, we probably like open up a whole new can of worms, and everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Watch.
They go home and they're like all itchy and shit.
Watch, I'm gonna be driving home, arm on the steering wheel.
What bug?
Hand steering wheel. I'm gonna see like crawling on my arm as I'm driving.
Crawling on your arm.
I'm flipping the car over if I see a bug on my arm.
Not even on meth.
Nope. Not at all.
Yeah. So this guy, he's been studying it for like over 14 years, like I said, and it came down to like him. He figured out like a protocol to like remove these from patients, because he's actually trying to help people. Like it's like the real deal. Like he's actually trying to help people.
Yeah.
Instead of like saying, "Oh no, you're crazy. You're
fucking
making
lunatic.
You're making all this up." No, he's actually trying to help, and then he's helping them. Like he figured out like if you do like a certain type of meditation with a certain type of music, it actually puts like the Morgellons disease, the nanotechnology in the body, like it kind of locks them in a timeline. Because he's saying, here's another crazy part. He's saying that this technology, it goes in and out of dimensions. Like it can be in third dimension and fourth dimension, depending on like the frequency of what it's operating at.
Okay.
So this is where I'm saying like maybe this is where the doctors are not seeing it, because when they're going to the doctor, they jump out of the frequency and they're in the fourth dimension. So they don't actually exist.
See them. Yeah,
they're actually invisible. He's saying like, holy shit, if it's real, let's see if we can lock it in a timeline, like lock it into this space.
To keep it from...
And then we can try to get it out the body, keeping it locked.
Yeah, I can see like, because if you lock it in space, we're seeing if it's like jumping in between dimensions.
Yeah, he's calling that space-time continuum.
Yeah, it would have to be vibrating.
Yeah.
Some shit. Right. So you have to like lock it in space, like lock it in time, like keep it from shaking or whatever.
You gotta shake him in that frequency where they can't get out of that frequency.
They kind of
like,
stuck.
Hey, I'm trying to jump to the fourth. They're like, nope, we lock you in like a certain frequency. So this is like a 20-week program, because it takes a long time for like your body to actually like get used to running like a new frequency and stuff. So he would have these guys, they do it over like 20 weeks, and then they're actually able to lock these parasites, these nanoparticles and shit in your body, lock them in a timeline, and then slowly remove them like from the body. Because they're like, yeah, like these parasites, they jump in and out dimensions. And then he was talking about the Greys, like with their technology, like the reason why like you're seeing like these spaceships, it looks like they're like zipping out, right? But they're not actually zipping out. They're going through like a frequency where they're jumping dimensions.
Yeah, that's what I think we live in an era now, and for anybody keeps up with the space travel shit, how yes, us little humans, yeah, we got ships trying to make it to Mars and whatever. But I think, and we got all this fuel and stuff, but I think that's the wrong approach. It takes too long to get where we need to go.
Right. It's not,
like maybe gasoline works.
It's not practical.
Like gasoline may be practical and fuel may be practical on an Earth standard. And
to go to Walmart.
Yes, to the Walmart, to your job and everything. But to go out in space, you gotta like punch holes in reality and like just take the shortcut through maybe some interstellar black hole shit maybe or whatever, but it's not gonna be no typical fuel. This is next level travel, man.
Yeah, the same thing. And then like the aliens, the Greys, they're known to have like this technology also, like even like with their own gray suits. Like the gray suits are able to jump in and out of this reality. That's like, for example, when we talk about that Vegas story with the kid, he saw the big beings, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody's asking questions like, where did they go? They're so big, how could they just disappear? They didn't actually like disappear. They actually like warped themselves out of this dimension to another dimension, but it's still actually like kind of like physically there. It's just in our reality we cannot see them because they're running a different radio station. And they're using that same technology, which I'm thinking this nanotechnology, like the parasites in the body, is doing the same shit.
Running on the same type of...
running the same running that same shit where they can jump in and out of this reality. Like, surprise, I'm here. Surprise, I'm out.
I'm in and out. You can't see me.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna wait till you go to the doctor's office and I'm gonna disappear, but I'm gonna come back when you get home, so I can ruin your life.
We back.
Right, and then you're thinking, right? I'm thinking, like, okay, like the government, they got like this parasite in you. What would be the reason for all of this? What do you think would be the reason why they would put a parasite in a human body?
And the government was behind it?
And if they're behind it, what would be the reason?
If they're behind it. I would think that, I don't know, to change us. Because parasites can change shit. I mean, either it can be killing people is like too easy. It's killing people don't be making sense to me sometimes. It's got to be more of like a control situation. Mine would be more like they either trying to transform us into something else or
you're so good. Yeah. I would say the same thing too.
Nice.
Yeah, like basically like to transform us into like something where they can have like a control over.
Yeah.
Because remember, I was telling you a long time ago, way before like people started freaking out when they would talk about, hey, I want to buy these shoes, and they will see the ads, right? But then it got more weird when you would just think about something,
boom,
and then you see it. That's when you're like, okay, what's going on? Is there something like that we don't know about? And then when I was reading about the Morgellons stuff and how this nanotechnology is inside you, probably collecting data, it's probably collecting so much data like from your brain, like literally, and then transferring it instantly to like whatever, selling to websites. Basically, they're in our heads, like literally in our heads.
It has access to all your social media accounts, anything you got accounts on, and where you can see an ad, which is everywhere at this point.
Like instantly. Like you don't even have to talk about it. You just got to think about it. Other than that's when it gets weird. That's when you're like, okay, what would be the reason behind this? Whoa. Scared me.
Scared the shit out of me too.
When did she get out there?
You get them nanobots in you? Jesus.
Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. I got pee.
Me too.
And we are back. Hola. What Katie said, she says, reminds me of another good movie called John Dies at the End, written by a dude who did a lot of drugs.
Oh, Lord. No, I'm not.
Those are the best movies. Like,
people die from drugs at the end?
No, people that do drugs that then write movie scripts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, what's his name? He writes all these books. Fuck.
Stephen King?
Stephen King.
He's on shit heavy back in the day, man. I know.
Then he went through a phase where he was sober when he was writing it. And you could tell that the style was different.
Changed up, man.
Like, hey, man, get back on that cocaine now.
You read some of his older books? I read like this book series called The Dark Tower. There's a part towards the end of the last book. The main character, I think his name like Roland Dischain. I think his name was.
Damn.
This dude Roland
Dischain.
Like, long story short, it's about like this, like, it does like the whole multiverse stuff, whatever. But the main character of the book winds up meeting Stephen King in the book.
Damn.
And Stephen King wrote the book, and I was like, oh, this must have been them days when he was like on some
probably just out of an ayahuasca trip.
Yo, the book got trippy. But yes, he's the main one I know. I'm pretty sure he's the only one that's done shit while writing a book, but Stephen King is the most well-known one. That man was on a lot of stuff.
Can't deny it from his books. All right, let's get back into this Morgellons disease. All right, so like other theories that this guy is saying, the reason why they're doing it is like they're trying to take over the planet. Because they did something. He said they did something with their planet where they kind of fucked up their planet. Now they're like, all right, we want your planet. But they can't just come here straight up take over the planet, you know?
Yeah.
They gotta we almost have to give them permission, like, oh, okay, you can have it. It's almost like that.
It's all yours.
Because there's rules. It's like just a universal rule. You just can't. No, like there's people above all that too.
Yeah. Which
is crazy. That's why, like, when I was taking trip, talk about all the time, but like there was times where I would just laugh because I would get so deep into like getting information to where they literally told me like, dude, there's laws above laws above laws. Like even if you die 1,000 times, there's still laws. That's like there's laws behind that. Everything, like there's people behind everything.
When you go to the next
control, it's like a government for everything.
Yeah,
there's something controlling something the whole time. Even how far deep you go. Like I got so deep into it to where I literally saw sharks controlling the banking system, but they were sharks. They're called sharks, but they control like the whole encryption for banking and the whole currency of like a universe currency. It's so weird. I can't even. It boggles my mind. But it got to that deep.
Yeah, it sounds fucking. And
yeah,
this shit sounds way out. I'm like a shark. I'm like a real shark.
Yeah, I was like a shark control the whole like.
Was it like an actual shark or?
It looked like shark people. Yeah, like it looked like a shark. That's why
Atlantis.
I was like, I don't understand any of this. You know, I'm so confused right now.
Can somebody tell me what's going on?
Yeah, but then they'll show me like all these. It's crazy, like banking system. I was like, all right. I was like, so this is like a currency like you guys use out here. I was like, it was crazy. It's not no Dubai money. It's above and beyond Dubai money.
The Arab money. Oh man.
Yeah, but like it also like when he was saying how like these bugs going in and out like the dimension, it reminded me of what we talked about maybe a few years ago, monatomic gold.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So there's a scientist at a university where they actually placed like monatomic gold in a gas chamber, and then they heated it up to like 700 degrees, and then the monatomic gold disappeared. They're like, where could it go? Because it's in a gas chamber.
Yeah.
All they did was they took the heat up to 700 degrees and it's gone. It vanished. Right? So then like when the heat dissipated, it got back to regular heat. It shows up again. And they're like, what the fuck? Where did this gold go? Because it went somewhere.
Yeah.
So they're saying like this gold probably went to another dimension and came back.
So something in it allowed it to like...
Yes.
All you gotta do is like increase the heat in the area, then boom, it's able to travel.
So then here's my brain started working overtime now.
Yeah.
Like, what do they use gold on? Like mostly, like besides like technology, on spaceships.
Oh, that's right.
They would like put like a coating of gold on like spaceships and stuff. Like they say, all right, to reflect the sun or whatever. But if you think about it, right, like gold in monatomic form, if they did this in a lab to where they can get the gold to disappear in another dimension, let's say you wrap a whole spaceship with this gold, monatomic gold, right? All the spaceship got to do is just heat up to like a certain degrees, boom, they're instantly in another dimension, and they're probably traveling through space so damn fast.
Yo, that's like Back to the Future when in like the DeLorean, it has to hit like 88 miles per hour, did a specific thing, and then it goes back in time. Yeah, you just got to go a certain speed because speed and friction go hand in hand. And
yeah, so like people say like there's no like use for gold. I think gold is, there's a reason why gold is universally like always accepted everywhere on this world and in the galaxy. Because look, there's stories about aliens. They come out here, right, and then they use like the human race to mine gold. This is just a story. Use them to mine gold. But if you think about it, if that story is true, why are they getting these humans to mine gold? What's the reason for gold? Why is gold such an important resource? You know?
Hey, it's something they need.
It's definitely something they need.
If it's a resource, it's something they really need.
Yeah, there's something that their planet is lacking. So the word on the street is, there's this guy named Zachariah Stitchin, where he translated the Sumerian tablets. And what he found, like in these tablets or Sumerian texts, that there's a race from like another planet, right? Let's say Nibiru, came out here, and he said that their atmosphere was destroyed by whatever they did, and they needed to get gold from planet Earth in order to like fix their planet, because their planet is like under repair because they've been abusing it, just like how we're abusing our planet, polluting it.
Right.
And think of a planet as like a machine. Like machines over time, wear and tear, it need new parts. So their planet went through like a lot of the same shit where they polluted like their atmosphere, where they literally had no atmosphere anymore. So they're probably like burning, like
they wrecked.
Like getting a tan too fast.
Oh shit, this radiation is so off.
Put on your sunscreen. What sunscreen? Yeah, so like the word on the street, the story is that they came down to Earth a long time ago, and they modified the human DNA, and they got the humans here on the Earth to mine gold, took that gold, took it back to their planet, fixed their planet up, and then everybody's happy.
I can see that, because what if it's like, yo, all right, we need to make these humans, these creatures called humans, right? We need to make them, but how can they, what can they do to like be able to lift stuff? Oh, let's give them thumbs. That's something that nobody else, but we can't give nobody else thumbs on the planet, just them. we might get some gorillas some shit, but for the most part,
make the brains bigger too, where they can understand instructions.
Yes, instructions and all the stuff, how to build tools, and we'll just throw some other stuff on the planet too, so they can probably eat or whatever, do whatever they want. Like, we'll give them a lot of water because water is a necessity to life, and whatever. How much you trying to put on this planet? Okay, you're trying to do like about 8 billion. All right, cool.
Like how big you want to make the brain? Like, do you want them to like do computer code? Not yet. Hold on. They got to go through some turmoil.
Let's let them how to start a fire first.
Yeah, let's let them like fight each other first.
Let them fight each other, then how to start a fire, and then rub sticks together. And then we got to start them from like the ground up. We can't give it to them too fast.
What about that big lighter? Hold on, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do the big lighter yet.
No, that's after Jesus. That's way after Jesus. We gonna give them the big lighter. We getting too far.
Yeah, they
too
taught
fast.
them all these things. But yeah, like so that's like the story, like with gold. But gold, like, there's a lot of uses for gold. It's in all our technology now. Like it's literally it's our whole society right now.
It's not as rare as people think it is.
Yeah, it's built all on gold. Anywhere from like our computers all the way down to like
TVs,
a CD, dude.
CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CD one, I've heard about that a while ago too. And I'm like, what the fuck, a CD? See how many fucking CDs I've broken? Like,
yeah, I actually know a guy that used to work at a warehouse where they produce all these blank CDs. This back when CDs were like a hot shit, blank CDs.
Blank CDs, man, used to get them like the little
100 stack just to burn music.
Dude.
Not only burn music, but burn PlayStation games.
Yes, man.
I'm like, holy shit.
Movies.
We're stealing from the man right now.
This is it. We're fighting the man.
But yeah, like he would tell me where they would like get shipments of these stack of blocks of gold just to make these CDs, and they would get like they're all security everywhere, and then they bring like blocks of gold and then this is when they make the CDs. Like they melt the gold down, do whatever. I don't know how they do it, but it was like he was saying like, yeah, all these CDs have gold in it. That's the first time I learned about it.
Wow.
And then like later, that's when I heard them talking on TV about, there's like golden CDs.
Shit.
I was like, oh, I knew that. Like, back in grade school, I learned about that.
Y'all late. Welcome to Earth. Man.
So, like, this guy, he worked with, like, a lot of people who has been infected with this Morgellons disease. And one common thing that a lot of the patients say they're feeling is all of them would say they feel like they're in different worlds. So I'm like, holy shit, that's such a weird thing to say. And every single patient would say that. So if you think about it, like, all right, let's say the Morgellons disease, the bugs and stuff, right? They would go in and out of frequency. Like, okay, you go from third dimension to fourth dimension. You're basically in a different world. But see, these people, these patients, they don't know anything about third, fourth dimension, like hopping dimension. Like, that's like out of their...
most normies don't know that.
They don't like. No, they're not gonna be like all sci-fi about it. But they would tell him like, yeah, it feels like I'm in a different world. And then, his light bulb like clicking. He's like, holy shit. So like, it kind of like backs up like his own theory that these bugs are going in and out of the dimension when these people are actually saying like they feel like they're in two different worlds. So they're like, holy shit.
Because it is a part of them.
Yeah. So it's like, damn. It's like this might be a thing. Like something's happening where they might be going in and out of dimensions. That's a weird ass shit, like for a disease, right? That's why like maybe the doctors couldn't like verify it as like an official disease because they're like,
it's not here.
We're not catching it. Like we see fibers growing out, but
where's the physical evidence?
Where are these fibers coming from?
The source, yeah. Where's the source at? It's coming from the body, but we checking y'all. We X-rays and
doctor's like, nah. But then like they did like a whole story. The news did a whole story about it, and the people they're suffering. They're literally suffering from this shit. They're like, dude, we need help. Like we can't just like they're going everywhere to get help, but they're getting turned down. They're getting called crazy and shit. And this is a lot of people too. Like nobody wants this shit.
I know.
And I read the comment section. They're like, they feel the same shit. They're like, not like as a doctor, but they feel like empathy for these families. They're like, hey, like how about we not call them crazy and just try to figure out what the fuck is going on instead of just going straight to like, yeah, you're delusional, you're experiencing some like parasitosis, like something's wrong with you mentally, like maybe go to a mental doctor, not a skin doctor or whatever. So even the comment section was like, yeah, like it's clear that these people need help. You can see like these wounds like on the arms and everything. They look like a drug addict, but they're clean. They don't use drugs or nothing. But they feel bugs crawling out of their skin, in their faces, inside their skin. Like imagine that, dude, living like that.
And the answer is,
and then your
crazy.
doctor says you're crazy.
You're fucking.
And then
nuts.
you're sitting there sober as fuck, like damn.
Maybe I am crazy.
Like, ouch! Ow!
Hey man, yo, shit, maybe I am.
Yeah. And then you look in the mirror, it's like maybe you are crazy. And then the bugs like just drop like your face.
Just like,
Bloop. Makes a noise, an indent.
Tink 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 tink.
Yeah. But yeah, here's a thing I heard about like with the CDC. So I heard like the CDC that they did do a test with like maybe 115, 120 people, and they concluded that it's not real. They're experiencing delusional, whatever how you say it. But then I heard later, like a few weeks ago, that the CDC did acknowledge that Morgellons disease is like a legit disease. But that I don't know. Maybe you guys can look that up. What's up, Savo? What Savo said?
Savo says my boy shat his pants during an interview at the VA to get 100% disability.
Damn. So
VA is for Veterans Affairs. If anyone not familiar,
did he get it?
I hope he did. He just shit yourself. I heard stories of people doing the extreme just to get disability. I did hear that. That's not people pretending like they're crazy and shit. I've heard it all. So yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah, so yeah, sometimes you do gotta check some people because some people just might be just trying to get disability check. Some people just like might be going crazy, and I do think that is like a type of mental issue where you feel like bugs are crawling out of your skin and this, that, and the third. But what about the ones of where they don't always fall in that category of?
Yeah, like the normal, even like the kids. Like, what can you say about the kids? I don't think they're under like any type of drug like that, you know. But the thing is, like, there's so many cases about this because when I was listening to Coast to Coast, they had callers call in. The first call was like, he was so shocked that they had like a guy on the show talking about Morgellons disease, like not just as a disease, but something that's like kind of like paranormal, like something you can't explain, you know, because going in and out of dimension. They're like, what the fuck? Like you're talking about a disease, and then you're talking about it's a nanotechnology, and it's going in and out third and fourth dimension, like. That's fucking weird. Like, what doctor would even say that shit's real when somebody out here is talking about it like that, you know? Right. So the caller's like, hey, I've been experiencing like this, and you nailed everything. You talked about everything that's happening, like that's happening to me. He's saying like these fibers are just growing out of his skin and they're moving. It's like they're alive and shit, right? And then they would take the fiber out for a long time and they would leave it out in like open air and it would die because, you know, it's like a parasite. It's not living off your body no more. Exposed to air and then eventually it dies. But he's saying like he experienced like the bugs crawling out his skin, like black goo type shit, you know. And then he's saying like his wife is like infected with it also. And he's saying like when he was describing how he said patients were saying like they feel like they're in another dimension or another world. The caller's like he experienced the same shit. He's like it feels like I'm in another world like so many times. So let's say like they're actually going in and out of third, fourth dimension too. Like not just the bugs, but they're experiencing that too. Yeah,
why do you go like physically they're still here, but a part of them is going.
Yeah, a part of them is like, hey, I kind of feel like sometimes like I would see stuff like driving to where I'm like I don't recognize that building or I don't recognize this lake. Where this lake came from?
Yeah,
I'd be like, what's going on? You're like, is my memory that bad?
Oh, me, I'd be thinking like a new timeline.
Yeah, like that's
the like, damn, somebody fucked up something.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This shit was never here.
Yeah, CERN put that in my head. Like every time I see something weird, I'm like, fucking CERN, they fucked up the timeline.
That was like several years back. There's a Popeyes on my side of the town, and somebody kept telling me like, it's always been there. I'm like, man, that shit was not there last week,
dude.
And I'm like, it's still there right now. But I was like, man, I drive on that street all the time. That Popeyes was never there, but I look crazy. But I take the L for it, but whatever.
It's been there. I can show you papers.
That shit was not always there.
Sable says, now I think I heard of this. He says, I know when you dream and it's mad real, another dimension. Dreams is another, like, that's like another layer of, like, dimension hopping, right?
They can't even explain dreams. No matter what you... Scientists really can't even explain
sleep.
Yeah, right.
Like, why are you sleeping? To get energy? What?
I don't get it. You can stay up all day, but let me try to. Don't make no sense. Nah, real shit like dream. Like what they say is was it sleeping is a cousin of death type
I knew
shit.
you were gonna say
Yeah, cause I think we talked about the last episode.
like you're kind of dead, right?
Yeah, it's like this as close as you can get to it.
Because like your soul is basically like leaving the body if that happens, right? Because you're like your soul is probably going to the meeting and then like, all right, let's play a movie for them, and then they're like, all right, let's play a movie with them in a different reality, right? And sometimes they play the same movie. This is why you get two dreams that connect, like years later.
Yeah, they usually have like a this is a part 3,
right? Where it syncs up to like a previous dream you had. You're like, hold on, hold the telephone.
What in the Tarantino is this?
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck, Stephen King ass? Like, what's going on?
All connected.
Yeah, you get weird shit like that, and then meanwhile your soul is up somewhere having like a grand council meeting. This is what I think my soul is doing, having a meeting on Earth. Like, what the fuck is going on with Earth? Like, man, I was just out there. You won't believe what happened.
Shit's getting crazy.
Y'all seen Ocean Gate? You know, like weird shit like that. You know, like. Meanwhile, like Obama, when you heard him talking, he was like, "Yeah, like the news, like it has been like blown. The news been blowing up Ocean Gate with a few of these rich people that got stuck on the ocean. Meanwhile, there's like another ship with 700 people. When I think they didn't make it or some shit.
Yeah, the migrants we talked about last week. It was like a boat.
Oh, the same thing, right?
Same one off of Greece, I think it was. Greece and Italy.
So Obama was talking about that now. It's crazy.
The whole thing?
That is all of it.
There you go.
It's like how does news prioritize like what should the public see, right?
What the public watches.
Right.
That's literally what it comes down to. It's like, what are people watching? Okay, we get more viewership for people watching racist videos. So we need to start pumping more racist type news. Like, let's get them all riled up, and they be stoking the flames, and they ain't gotta do shit.
Yeah, you think all this is just like a emotional mining? Because when you're expressing like emotion, right? It's like energy.
Yeah.
And let's say like
feed off of it.
Let's say like the news people, like they're able to get people wild up about certain shit that they see, and then they can suck that shit out. Like, let's just think like ultimate sci-fi, where like every time you express an emotion, it gives off energy, and they can suck it because they're the one that made you mad. So they made you mad, so they collect your energy. That shit's crazy. Like, hey, I pissed off Chris Jones. I took his energy.
Tastes so good.
Yeah, and imagine like millions of people that you pissed off, and you just suck it all like. What a nice day on Earth.
All that racism
for a lowercase god.
Little G,
G,
not big G. But yeah,
I don't know.
No,
that's another wild theory.
No, I don't know. That's
really far out there.
That's way out there.
Yeah, my bad.
But not bad though. No. But it does seem like it does. I don't know. It seems like it markets and just making people upset more than anything.
That's a business.
Because there's times I watch like local news. I'm like, man, local news be having some like, grounded stories about perseverance sometimes, and then you watch world news like, oh, Ukraine and Russia, and just Russian generals turn on this fucking Russia, and people getting killed, and submarine, and kids, and whatever, all this chaos in the world. I'm like,
genocide.
Like, it is chaos, man. Like, watching news is like, this time I watch news all day, every day, damn near. There's times I'm like, let me take a step back.
They're like, give me all your energy.
Too much.
Yeah.
And it makes you sad.
It's like a battery, like
is.
feed it like Dragon Ball, where he's like spirit bomb. Everybody's giving him the power.
Give me all your depression.
Yeah, they're like, give me all that shit.
Spirit bomb is like red but not blue. It's just like all this.
They build it up so strong.
All this sadness.
Black plague.
Kaboom.
But yeah, like with this whole story, it's weird. The whole thing is weird. With the whole Morgellons thing, I believe that these people are going through something real and serious with the whole fibers and everything with the bugs. I believe them. I just don't know what it is though. Like
only they know.
I don't. Yeah, like until it happens to me. Knock on wood. But oh, my mom's calling.
Until we get a device that could actually detect this shit of them being here, then we can't do nothing.
Let me just pick up this call. We'll take a break real quick.
Yeah.
And we're back.
All right.
All right, so like with everything I told you, like what do you think about this whole Morgellons disease? Like, do you think it's like a legit thing, or you think like it's still something weird, like you can't even put your finger on, but it's something, but you just don't know?
Can't even put my finger on it. It's something I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Because I've heard similar stories of where drug addicts have experienced this, but at the same time, it's like if these people ain't on drugs and they being tested and they have these experiences, then it should be looked at a little bit more. But at the same time, it's like, how can we try to understand something we don't even have the technology or anything to even?
Yeah,
we still don't even understand the fucking ocean. So this is next level.
Stay out the ocean.
Like,
that's like not our territory.
Don't go to Titanic. That's the only thing we know right now.
Unless you have like a suit, you know, that can withstand all that pressure.
Even then, I won't even trust it.
If you're a Power Ranger, if not, hey, might want to stay out the ocean. You know,
if you're a Power Ranger, go in a Megazord. Don't even go in like Red Ranger outfit. Just go take a whole robot with you. It might be safer.
Or build like a humanoid robot / alien.
Right? Yeah, a humanoid robot. Like how?
Yeah, just like a gray alien. The body can withstand all that pressure from traveling through space, right?
Boom, and it'd be like down there.
The body have no genitals, no nothing. All they need is just eyes. They need to
just smooth like a Ken doll.
Yeah, eyes
no
and
nothing.
Some beady ears. Boom, send them down to the ocean, because there is a lot of stories about USO, like unidentified submerged objects. Where they would literally like see these objects go into the ocean, right? But the way they go in the ocean, it's almost like they create like their own gravity field, like a bubble, right? Because they're not going in splashing. It's like it's like going in like
it's like the water goes around them.
Right. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, kind of Disney Channel movie is this? You know? I was like, that's fucking weird and shit. Like how they describe it, it's like it's almost like something goes around them and they gently go into the ocean.
Makes sense because that
fast too.
Because hitting that water is like tough, man. It's like, especially at that speed, it's probably would obliterate. It would obliterate most objects.
That's a nosebleed. Anybody, boom, nose broken, but nose like, boom. It's like they go through like a little wormhole. Hello, Atlantis. Bye.
Yeah, but say Atlantis. Yeah, that's what I say. Welcome, Atlantis. Boom.
Hello, I'm out there. I just went to go pick up some popsicles. But yeah, that's my story with Morgellons. I know you got like a lot of other stories.
No, I just got one more.
Okay, let's run it. And then I got one more after that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Next topic,
guys. So, the topic I just stumbled across, and shout out to Rational National that mentioned this in their show, talking about how there's this thing called lead crime hypothesis, right? And he explained it in his podcast, which is actually a YouTube show. It's like, hey, look, it's tied to a lot of stuff. Look it up. I'm not gonna tell you. And that's why, like, when I watch some of these podcasters and YouTuber people, when they say, hey, look it up yourself, I'm telling you what it is. Look it up. It makes me like, let me look it up. And so lead crime hypothesis, right? Story goes is this, that starting in 1960s, and I got this from Forbes magazine. This article came out in 2013. It says starting in 1960s, America saw a huge increase in levels of violent crimes that peaked in the early 1990s, and then suddenly it declined, and it continues to decline to this day. Now, me saying it declines to this day as far as like violent crimes, most people probably would disagree because they feel like crime is probably escalating. But in reality, crime has actually been dropping steadily over the years. Now, what the news shows, that's a different story. The news is just kind of pumping all this bad shit and running the same goddamn story all the time. They run into your head, make you think there's somebody standing outside your house right now getting ready to kill you. But in reality, the world's gotten a lot more safer, more peaceful.
I think so.
It's gotten way more under control.
It's like in soft mode right now.
Yeah, it's chilling. It's trying to figure out. I think America's still trying to find itself, violent-wise. I mean, everybody's got a damn gun, but it's not like a war zone everywhere you go when it comes to like people having guns. I mean, it can get bad, but for the most part, it's not as bad as it was from the 60s to the 90s. And so these scientists are drawing this correlation of how lead-based products, which lead is like in like everything back in the day,
right? From like paint,
and
like the water pipes,
the fucking soil and food. And
I remember like
air you breathe in.
I remember them saying like how like overnight, right, you would have to leave your faucet on running for a good minute to get to
All
run
that
all
lead
the
out.
lead, to run out the pipes before you can actually use it.
Yes,
Because that was like a big issue like back then, because they're running lead and everything. For some
Lead
reason.
was all over the place, and so they've noticed that a huge part of like when they was running like lead was doing well. It was going on through like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And so they wound up drawing this, the scientists wound up coming together. And this is on a global scale. This isn't just the United States. But so when I talk about like the 1960s to the 1990s of like crime escalating and crime dipping, I'm only just speaking on behalf of the United States. The rest of the world had different like spikes in crime, but it was all based off when lead was in products and in the air and everywhere. And when the government started putting regulations down, it's like, hey, we need to do something about these damn lead shit. And when they put it out of products and everything, crime started decreasing after that. Now, mind you, this isn't like just talking about crime as in like armed robberies and crimes of desperation and most crimes and people get locked up for like selling drugs, using drugs, robbing people. Most people aren't like fucking murderers and shooting everybody all up on the place. That's most people locked up are petty fucking crimes. And there's a lot of us come from desperation. So when I'm speaking of as far as like crime like spiking, I mean just like murders specifically of people just getting murdered. And supposedly there's a hypothesis showing that it was tied to like lead being distributed in like just products and everything and affecting parts of the brain where
What's up, Stu Jersey?
Stu Jersey, what's good, man? How you doing, bro? It says if you so one of the scientists was saying like back in if somebody was born in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, if you add like 23 years to that, he says that lead emissions from automobiles explain 90% of variations of violent crimes in America. Toddlers who ingested high levels of lead in their 40s, 50s really were more likely to be violent criminals in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, which is why 60s and 70s was the era of like serial killers.
Yeah,
all this shit was like starting to spike.
That shit was like the fucking
man.
That shit was lit.
The cat's meow. The cat's meow, man. Everybody was trying to get it done. That was a bad time to be a blonde or a brunette or whatever them serial killers was looking for. It's a bad time for it. But they're drawn like that.
Good time for milk cartons.
Oh yeah, because so many people was going missing in the 60s. I think especially like suburban white kids were going missing a lot in the 60s and 70s. Doing that flower power
And then
movement.
in the 80s, black kids.
In the 80s was like black kids. And
Atlanta Monster.
Yeah, all that shit. And probably way more than that we know. But it was just a violent era of like people just being like adults who were,
they were scared because like not only like individuals were doing like these crimes, right? These cults would start coming out of nowhere too.
Yeah, cults were booming. Cults started up.
Cults was like, dude, this was before internet too.
Yes.
And, back then it's difficult.
It was probably wilder back then, honestly.
Yeah, how do you get a whole community together like physically? You have to be out there like front line and shit.
You gotta be knocking door to door.
Yeah, you got to do that shit the old school way on foot.
Hey, join us.
Would you like to join our community?
Come with us, please. Leave your whole family behind. Be isolated.
Yeah, like, let me show you something that's gonna like blow your mind. Like, this world isn't exactly what it is, and let me just prove it to you. And then they show them whatever they show them, right? And then like they're so mind blown, like, okay, I'm gonna join your community. And then they know they actually all joined into a cult, suicide cult.
Yeah, a suicide cult. They don't know about that Halley's Comet, whatever the fuck it was, the Hell
Right,
Pop.
but here's like the thing, like let's say when they did the whole suicide ritual, like they actually wherever they say they were gonna go.
I guarantee you, yeah. Oh no, they actually went there. Oh god, I don't want to think about. No,
this is just like a physical world. Like, well, okay, we live, we die, we don't know where we go.
Yeah, but I want to. Do you really want to test that theory?
Fuck no.
That's the thing. That's the thing. There's people like, oh, I'm done with this shit. Let's hit the fast forward button to.
Yeah, like, there's a reason why we're here now today. We have to supposed to figure out like whatever we're supposed to be doing
with the time that we
this
have.
Time. Everybody has their own little storyline. Got to play out your movie how your soul wanted to play the movie, and let's say you end that shit quick, right? Your soul's gonna be pissed off at you. Because your soul's watching you and be like, hey, what the fuck you doing?
Why'd you make that choice?
Why you kill yourself like that? Like, we were supposed to do that one thing back in band camp. We didn't get to do that because you ended it. Now you're going to come back 1,000 more lifetimes. And then your soul's like, fucking idiot.
Next life, we're going to be a
You were
cockroach.
almost done. You
almost fucking got you, idiot.
Bob says, I don't believe that. If you want to kill, they gon' kill. Damn. Okay. Southside.
Okay, all right.
They gone kill.
Gang.
Sable says, I was alive during the time of 70s and 80s. Looking back, it was creepy as fuck to be a kid.
Yes, I watched. Okay, this is a YouTube channel that shows like camera footage of. Hey, this is what New York and So-So City looked like in the 70s. This is what New York and So-So City looked like in the 80s. 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s, and it shows you this camera footage of like people just had cameras walking down like Times Square, which today Times Square is like the biggest tourist attraction, and probably like in America, that's where everybody around the world want to go to, Times Square. But back then it was like goddamn triple X bars and all this drug ridden area, and sex and all the type of shit. But it's like that was a different time back then. But that
was
was
like a man's world.
Yeah, the nasty ass world. that was bad back then, and
it was like women had no say at all in anything.
Pretty much.
Think about it, right?
It's like, hey, you.
Like, could we change the color? No.
Why are you talking? Get out of here.
Step down, Becky. Step down.
You better get out of my face.
And then she steps down her stool.
Why are you talking to me? Where's my hungry man? Throw that shit in the oven. You damn microwave's back there, so it's the oven.
Get out of this room. Laundry.
Why aren't you wearing heels when you clean up the house? Like it was like that era. It was wild back then, man.
Her nickname is like dishwasher. See, now we're gonna get fucked up, huh?
Kitchen, where are you? That's his wife's name. He calls her kitchen.
But yeah, see, back then, no respect for females, right? It was like a man's world. But it's not like that today. It's a whole new.
That was still a man's world, but it's
a
different
strong foothold now.
A little bit more. Yeah, they got a little bit more.
Way more.
Yeah, a little bit more. Now, because I feel like there's some females out there who be working on behalf of men too. Like, I'm like, you an agent? Like, you ain't trying to do nothing for women.
Like, I would see like like there's these like funny ass videos where it shows like females, right? They're doing the punch machine, and they're punching that shit so damn hard. And then the next clip is like the dude like he's wearing an apron cleaning dishes.
Yeah,
you know,
tie it up.
Like all right, I'll clean the dishes. I'm not trying to get beat up.
Double knot that apron.
Sable says back then was better. In all capital letters. Don't let Bob know I said that. Bob says 90s kids.
Yes.
90s.
Yeah.
Bob is an 80s kid.
Well, but
you grew up in the 90s?
You grew up in the 90s, yeah. Because I would be considered a 90s kid, but
yeah,
I was born in the 80s.
Okay, yeah, we were born in the 80s. And
I remember like bits and pieces of the 80s. Like, shit I heard on the radio was like back in the 80s. But I was like only 5 by the time we left the 80s. So my shit was a little different. I got like... 90s is a huge majority of my memory.
Sable was an 80s kid. Does that mean he was born in the 70s?
70s, yeah.
Okay. Is that baby boomer or no?
Oh, no. That would be Gen X, right? That would be Gen X.
Gen X, okay.
I think either 1980 or 81 would be
or
millennials.
Yeah.
Sable, he's saying that. I'm not. All right, that's all him.
There's a script in front of me.
All right, so let me get back to this. All right, so what I was talking about before, just like basically lead being just pumped into our environment has been supposedly there's a hypothesis saying that this lead that's been pumped into society in America, actually not in America, on a global level, was the rise of crime on just everywhere, and it went on for about 3 decades. They say like dropped down in the early 90s. It said the second correlation holds true with no expectations. Every country's study has shown the same strong correlation between leaded gasoline and violent crime rates. Within the United States, you can see that the data at that state level where leaded concentrations declined quickly, crime also went down as well too. It says where it declined slowly, crime declined slowly. So when they start cutting back on lead, crime slowly started dropping along with it. Some places got completely rid of it, and then crime went down over it.
So they knew like quickly that lead was like the problem with all this.
I think on some level,
I wonder how they figured that out.
Because people's getting lead poisoning. Lead poisoning is probably the most popular known version of like ingesting a lot of lead, and I think that's the reason why it's like, hey, yeah, lead paint chips, lead gasoline. Because what they say back in the day was like, man, you must have ate lead paint chips when you was a kid because lead used to be in paint, and you must have been you a little slow for you. You're a little slow. So
here's the crazy thing like with lead, right?
Yeah.
Like back then, we used to live in LA, and we used to eat like this one Mexican candy. It was like the holy grail of Mexican candy because it was like pure like tamarindo with like chili powder, but it's like a pure stick. It's like a pure, like mouth savoring, like Mexican candy, and we couldn't find it anywhere, right? Like even after we moved out here, like, hey, what happened to this candy? And then later, there's like a internet, like an online article about this candy, saying that the reason why they took it off the shelf is because it contained high contents of lead.
Oh man!
And it's making all these kids like do and shit, you know? Like, and they're like, hey, like, you kids shouldn't be eating this Mexican candy because it all contains like high levels of lead in it.
Fucking lead, baby.
Because they were making it in Mexico. I don't know how, whatever process they did, but it contains high level of lead. So then, like, me and Bob was like, yeah, whatever. Let's try to find if they're still selling this candy.
Let's find it. Let's make sure it has lead in it. That's the best kind.
I was like, it's good if it has lead in it. So like, we ended up finding like, the candy on the internet. They even sell on Amazon now because I bought it a few times. But every time I eat it, I think about I'm probably eating lead right now.
And that hasn't stopped you?
And I was like, it's so good.
I went out of the lead.
It's so good. Look at Bob.
What'd she say?
She said that shit's so good.
Oh, see, y'all are some lead babies, man.
That's why we're kind of like off the spectrum a little bit.
No,
or on the spectrum. Like, what do you say?
Off the spectrum would be.
Yeah, sometimes I feel capital R. Sometimes.
I think we all do at some point.
I'm like, damn, why I do that? That's kind of like a capital R.
Happened to me today. I went to Waffle House and I tried to pull on the door, and because it was like a little resistance, I gave up. And I just like tugged at it, and the guy was like, "Pull on the door harder." And when I actually put some effort into it, it was like, I was like, man, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, I was slow as shit.
That happened to me like before. I was like, is this lock?
I took the cook at Waffle House. I was like, my bad. I was like, I'm a little off today. He's like, no, you good. He kind of gave me this look like up and down look like, no, you good. Like, I was like, all right. I don't know. I was
your generation weak.
He kept telling me like, pull the door. I was like, that's a little resistance.
The same thing like happened to me. Like we went to a restaurant and I was like, oh, this shit's locked. We were early. We were early, right? And then Judy's like, she fucking manhandled that shit. I'm like, oh, it's not locked.
Like, whoa, flex.
I was like, all right, okay.
Like, don't beat me. Please don't beat me. Yo, yes, happened to me today. That's exactly what happened.
Sable says, I can find you guys some and send it to y'all. Let me know.
I don't want no lead.
That was good. Like, I usually eat like enough Mexican candy where I'm good for like about a whole year. But I eat a whole pack of like lead candy.
I barely even eat candy.
Yeah.
I barely eat it. But when I kicks in, oh man.
Yeah, when I get the craving for it, I was like, hey, I need my fix.
I need something right now.
Yeah,
It's been over a year since I had any type of candy. I need to eat something.
Yeah, I can't believe Amazon sells it. But Amazon they have a lot of third party sellers. That's why
they
can
really
get away
do.
With it.
They really do. So with my story I was talking about before, so like I said, like lead poisoning was cause significant damages to people's brains, but it was saying like even moderately high levels of lead exposure associated with aggressivity, so anger, impulsivity, ADHD, and low IQ. And right there, you've practically defined the profile of a violent young offender. ADHD, I know I got that shit on lock, so I'm like, damn, I must have had some.
I think we all suffer from it, but not from that, but because of like technology.
But what if it's like it was lead and then now technology on top of that shit? What if it's both things are true? What if it's not one thing or the other?
So we all got to be medicated.
Or just learn how to get through.
Where the cocaine at?
That medication. But no, but yeah, if anybody want to look more into it, this is actually a very interesting article. They started to dig more into it. I've always been curious about crime spikes and just around the globe, especially in America. America's always been kind of like weird, but like within this new era, just modern times, 60s, 70s, 80s still hold the medal for like the most. Well, I'm pretty sure it was worse than that before then, but as far as like violent crimes contributed to an unknown cause outside of like poverty, it's probably fucking lead. That's why we got serial killers running around and shit.
So that's like the root to like most of it?
Actually, not even serial killers, just basic people in general just like going crazy and just murdering left and right. But that's the hypothesis of like...
So you think like nowadays, like let's say like 2010 after, there's not like a lot of people actually doing real murders?
No, I think...
It's like that's not really a thing like that, but it does happen, but it's not as common as it was like in the 80s or 90s.
Back then with serial killers was like, okay, you're killing people that you don't know. Like serial killers, like usually have like, hey, I like blondes, so I'm only going to kill blondes. Oh, if you're a serial killer, like I like brunettes, I'm only going to kill brunettes. If you're a serial killer, like I like kids, I'm gonna go for kids. If I like black people, I'm a serial killer. You're only gonna stick with black people. There's very few times like serial killers jump across races, and that's like in general. That's actually in general, not even with serial killers.
They take it personal. Huh?
That's just what
personal thing.
It's like what, yeah, it's like something
personal
with
preference.
Yeah, within them, with personal preference, what they probably hate. But as far like the most common person, most crimes happen within their own community. But
so, where do you think like those really weird ones come out of? Like, where did they come from? Like the really weird ones where they do really sick, nasty stuff. Like, where did that come from?
Oh, they did this shit before in another lifetime. Like Jack the Ripper's back again type shit. Like it's like
yeah, because that one is confusing. Where they do like the really sick shit, like whatever they.
Yeah,
some weird stuff where you're like, what the hell? Where'd that come from?
This is not the
like
routine.
what household got to be raised in to become a person like that?
Yeah, I know. The TV show is called. This is a TV show on Netflix. I think it's called Mindhunters. I think that's the name of it. It was Manhunter. Might be Mindhunter.
Might be Mindhunter. That sounds more familiar.
Very, very good show, and it's about how the FBI back in the 70s started building like criminal profiles on serial killers to try to understand them. And it was like, okay, serial killers have this specific type, and they will always stick to this specific type that they're trying to kill. They usually don't cross races, cross genders. So it's like Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was only going after a gay man. He was always going to go after gay men. It wasn't going to go after no straight man, no woman, no nothing. That's just what he was targeting.
Right.
And so over time, they're starting to realize, okay, let's build this profile structured in the mind of a serial killer. And it's very rare, but it does happen. We have serial killers who will jump races. It's extremely rare, though. Jump races or jump like genders. But it's very rare, though. And that's the one. Those are the ones that are like harder to catch. Those are the ones I'm kind of like, okay, they kind of like really outside of the.
Damn, I wonder
the knowledge of what we can even comprehend, because we seem like we as far as like understanding like criminology as far as serial killers go, it seems like on a global level we got it cracked down. It's also too in this day and age too, it's
cracked down like we understand it.
Understand like serial killers a lot, to the point where they can detect it in like a child. There's a YouTube video of this girl who, for some reason, she's trying to be like this psychopath. This little girl, and they interviewed her back in the 80s, just understanding her, and they did like a little sit down interview, camera and everything. And they talked to her.
And it was already like in her.
It was already in her. And then there's like, they did an interview with her. She's like, well, sometimes I like to hurt things. I don't be feeling nothing. Sometimes I like to hurt bugs. And now I want to hurt the dog. But now she's a grown woman. Now she's still alive. And as a grown woman, she's like, I didn't realize I was like that as a child. But she got therapy and all, whatever they did to help her out. But they caught her before she grew up to be a damn psychopath. So we got that on lock. But it's
so
the
do
ones.
You think like they're born like that?
It might run in the family.
Holy shit!
I know they try to draw
okay. It kind of makes sense now, because you know how like let's say if it's real that you get reincarnated, right? But then you collect the karma from your previous life. So let's say like you did collect that same karma, but then you're that person now. Like you collected that karma, and now you're like the bad little girl. But let's see if you can fix yourself. Let's see if you can get help and get out of this.
Mm-hmm. This is your second time around. Try it. And
it's like being born
still crazy.
Like, people say like people are born like everybody's born straight. I don't think that. I think people are born like, even when you see them as a child, like you can tell like they're they like guys or they like girls, they swing the other way. But you can tell when they're a kid.
Oh no, some of you can pick up right off top. It'd be like,
yeah, but that kid, like if you think about it, the kid didn't know nothing. But you can already, as an adult, you look at them like, okay, that behavior is like kind of like the behavior of so and so.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
But they're not gonna know.
You think about like, okay, are they born like this, or did they learn it as they grew up?
I think both things can be true. I don't think a lot of things like that are just like one-sided. I think it's they're either born this way, or something in their environment has triggered something in them to go in this direction. And I think both things can be true. That's what I
thought it would be.
I think it'd be. I think it'd be both.
But now, if you sometimes you see kids act that way. Now I'm thinking like, okay, they can be born that way.
Are you born crazy, or you just become this way? I think both things can be true.
Yeah.
Like environments, because like you can be born a normal person, but then you're taught to be racist by your parents. Like nobody's born racist,
right?
Like, on this
that's
planet.
Another thing.
So it's like your environment is a huge factor.
But if you are born racist,
you come out like I hate black people, like automatically. Like as soon as you come out the womb, they're all lazy.
We out here, like damn.
Okay, baby, let's put you back in there. Shit.
Stu says parenting is key. Childhood trauma can cause that stuff too. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, like all that, like everything is all mixed in together, like growing up and then like how you're raised and stuff can actually change your views and direction of everything. Like you were saying, like no one's born racist. How can you even teach that shit?
Yeah,
that's like impossible.
Unless it was racist in a previous life. Shit just carried over to the new save point.
That's fucking a crazy ass safe spot.
For real.
Yeah.
So, I just remember, hey, black people just come out.
It's like, oh yeah, I fucking hate black people.
I hate all them motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, I fucking hate white people. You know, like
they're taking all our jobs. They're like a baby.
But you're white. Like I fucking hate white people. You know, but I don't know. It's weird. The whole shit is weird. Because you just can't tell now because you're seeing kids like born and then they have these certain type of behaviors like what adults would have. Like let's say, like you know, like that little girl, she was like torturing bugs and because I did see like a video one time, right? Like the mom's just recording their child playing with dolls, but the girl, she took the doll, right, straight face, shoves it into the water, head first, and then she's just looking at the doll, and I'm like, that looks fucking, you know,
hey,
like,
does that hurt? You good?
You know, betterhelp.com, like, right? What the hell is your child is doing something like, it almost like she's like,
you gonna stop her?
Like I don't know, like reliving a past life because
maybe that's how she went out.
The look on her daughter's face when she put it in is like no emotion.
It's like straight.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm waiting for the doll to give up all the oxygen.
Maybe she got drowned in a previous life. Somebody drowned her.
It's something that we just don't understand because you don't just learn.
She don't understand.
Yeah, I don't think that child watch any shows where there's a bunch of murdering and stuff. Like she just put the doll head first. She knew the head can breathe. She's like, hey,
this is where air comes from.
I was like, damn, that's scary, man.
Man, hell yeah.
If my kid did that, I'd be like,
exorcism. Let's get this priest in here.
Where's the receipt? We gotta give you back to the hospital.
Oh, this is why we need robot babies, robot kids.
Yeah, because those you can actually get refurbished.
I'm like, hey man, my robot kid kind of funky. Can I get it rebooted? Like,
yeah, can I get a new one?
Factory reset.
Guys, like, I don't know, change the chip out or something.
This motherfucker acting crazy.
I said made in China. Like,
I don't know. Yeah, send this over here.
They played too much.
What if they assassins? Assassin robot kids. But yeah, that's it for that story. Yeah, lead and gasoline and everything, man. It's supposedly a leading cause of crime throughout a huge part of American history.
Just throw that abyss that the doll was possessed.
Yeah,
like Annabelle. Like,
I was thinking about Megan. Honestly. Did you ever see
Megan of Shark?
Oh no, you ever seen it? Is this movie on Paramount Plus? It's like the new. It's like the new era of Chucky.
I've never heard anyone say the movie on Paramount Plus.
Really? Yo, Paramount Plus, hey.
Yeah, I know what Paramount Plus, yes, but I've never heard anyone talk about it.
Because I'm watching it more, man.
I've never heard anybody reference anything to Paramount Plus.
Oh, it might be on Peacock. It's on one of them. But I'm watching it.
Well, what is it called?
Megan.
And
it's about this this doll, kind of like Chucky, but with AI programming. And
oh shit,
this shit
that
crazy.
Sounds like some Black Mirror shit.
It's like a Black Mirror episode, but longer.
Damn,
it's like that. It's very like that. It's like
a series.
It's designed to be almost a killer. Yes.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of any dolls, man.
It don't really bother me. I like Chucky. Chucky's the homie.
I think that's the one that fucking probably triggered all that shit.
Bob says so stupid. No, it's not. That movie was good. I enjoyed it for what it was.
You guys ever heard the story of Robert the doll?
Yeah, the cursed doll.
The most haunted doll they said in the world.
Yeah, is that the one based off of?
They had to put him in like a glass case with like fucking plexiglass and block him off to the public because people would see him, right? And then like I guess they see him and then they get cursed and shit. Like it's like a volcano rock.
What was it based off of? Because it's not a Raggedy Ann doll. It looks like something before Raggedy Ann. It looked like old.
Yeah, it's like a regular doll like dressed up in like a suit and shit.
Yeah,
or, like it looks creepy. That's all I can say. Like, what do you think about like things like not just like dolls but like objects being possessed by spirits? You think that's real? Like that's a real thing? Like let's say you got like a volcanic rock, right? You're not supposed to take a rock from like Hawaii, whatever. But then like it possessed some type of curse and shit, or you weren't supposed to do that. Do you think it's possible for spirits to attach themselves to objects?
Yeah, maybe an object. Maybe I always feel like spirits would attach like to a human more, just because they once were a human themselves, or a spirit is
like possessed them.
Yeah, an object. I can see it. I can see an object too, though. I guess. I don't know. A TV show Supernatural, when people get murdered and then they try to figure out how to stop this ghost. Well, this ghost was murdered with his knife 25 years ago. We have to like melt this knife down in order to stop this poltergeist. And
Damn.
so be like tied to shit like that. So
They created a whole like quest.
yeah, it's like tied to like, and it's usually tied to like trauma and stuff. And it's like, oh shit, we gotta destroy this object so they can get some rest. And
That's cool. Like, because you're like, basically like Earth Life is like an RPG game.
yeah,
Right?
you just gotta put it together.
One big RPG game. MMO game.
It is.
Massive online player, whatever.
8 billion strong.
Yeah.
with 8 billion fucking.
Yeah, imagine playing a game with 8 billion people.
Can't even,
Any one of them can fuck you up.
and that's just the people that we can see. We ain't talking about all the other shit in between, like the.
Yeah. That's why like I don't envy people with a lot of friends, because the way I look at it, you got more friends, but you got more ways to get cut.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems.
Yeah,
You do take on more problems.
How many ways you want to get cut? Yeah, that's why like
Keep that shit small.
Yeah, keep the circle small, because you know who's gonna cut you.
I've been like that way my whole life. I learned that back in probably high school. I was like, yeah, we gotta keep this shit tight, because
Yeah, I learned that like quick, like after my 20s.
there's some
You
jealous
can't have
motherfuckers.
that many friends.
There's some jealous people around you that
Yeah.
be cool with you. You don't know. I've never really experienced it, but I learned that young. Just watch, keep that circle small, man.
I'd be like, shit, where'd that cut come from? You don't even know where it came from.
you know,
You know, because like, holy shit, like, who are these people? Like, do you really know these people? Yeah. Life, man.
life.
That shit's. Bob says they move inanimate objects.
All right, let me see what it says. They move inanimate objects. Oh, okay. So like, just shit ain't like living. I mean, yeah, spirits can do that too. They definitely do that. That's the first thing they do is like close cabinets and Bob says, okay, but they still like.
She put a dark cloud. I have no friends, but you didn't put LOL or nothing.
I just no. That's why I was laughing at. I was like, oh god, it's sad.
It's almost like she just said it like straight up.
That's the most straight face. That's what broke my concentration. Like, I have no friends.
Yeah, like there's no LOL or nothing, or
Teehee.
no emoji.
No smiley face with the little
Yeah, it's
teardrop.
just cold.
coming out.
It's like a cold
I have no friends.
with a straight face.
Yeah, I'm your friend, Bob.
The lips curl a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I have no friends, and then shaking a little bit.
I'm your friend, Bob. You at least got one, right?
+1.
Plus one.
But yeah, is that it for that story?
That's it.
Okay, I got one story real quick.
All right.
All right, so in Russia, something happened recently. I don't know if it's recent. You know Sambo, right? The fighting style, Russia. It's kind of like wrestling.
More or less, yeah. I've heard of it though.
Yeah, so there's like a Sambo class for like kids, right? And one of the kids actually died during training because of, you know, the instructor was way too rough on one of the kids, like straight slamming them. You know, like Russia, they go a bit too hard.
No,
Yeah, they go a bit too hard on these kids, trying to make them hard.
because they're used to fighting bears.
Yeah, like we get it, Russia, you guys are tough guys. But then like when you're dealing with kids, they're kids, they're still fragile, they haven't fully developed.
They're not a bear cub.
You cannot toss these kids around, you know. And I think he was like a 7-year-old kid, and he was like slamming the kid and everything, and then he would pick him up by his head. He'd pick the kid up by his head, like, hey, get up. You know, like, get up. Like, you know, like, we're doing training. And the kid couldn't get up. The kid's just like, he's so out of it, you know. Like, he's not pretending. Like, I think the instructor thought he was pretending, like, you know, showing weakness. Like, no, like, every time he knocked him down, he would pick him up by his head. Like, a 7-year-old. Imagine that. Like, spine not even fully developed. You know, his whole body not even fully developed. Right. So he's just fucking up with his whole bones, his whole structure, picking him up. And it got to the point where the kid ended up being hospitalized from the incident where he kept picking him up from the head, slamming him, to where he ended up dying from it. So now, like, the Sambo instructor, he's definitely doing jail time for that.
Hell yeah, you just murdered a kid.
Yeah, and they have footage of it. Like, I think you can see it online. I don't know where. Maybe YouTube have it. But
have you seen it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you ain't like
I actually
me.
watched a different podcast where they talked about it. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
You ain't like me. I'd have went hunting for that. I'm like, I see this wild
Let me
shit.
take that. Yeah, but yeah, that's just sad. Like, cause I know like the whole thing, like with Russia, how they built all these strong fighters and stuff, cause they have like one of the most strongest fighters like in the UFC.
The most burly motherfuckers ever.
Yeah, like they're just so. The reason why they're so fucking hard and shit is because their training is so gruesome. But as even like an adult, like their training is so ridiculous. But you cannot use that same type of training on children. No, it's different.
Let a kid be a kid.
Yeah, like you cannot be that rough on a child, man.
It's like, get up, drink this vodka. Like, oh man, I just broke my spine. I can't even.
Yeah, that reminds me of another story, like with the child where it's like an Asian parent. I don't know. I'm just gonna say Chinese. But what happened was like he was scolding his child for like having like bad grades, and he couldn't like perform at like the expectancy of like a parent, like, oh, you need to get straight A's, right? Yeah. So then they would do studies, and the parent was just, he has like this knife, right? But he would use the knife just to poke at the kid.
Oh man!
Like, hey, you better study, you do good. But he accidentally, like in quotation, like jabbed his stomach a little too deep to where he punctured like an organ that was like a fatal organ that was vital, and the kid ended up bleeding to death. So like the father like literally like killed his own child like through like trying to get him to study harder.
Yeah.
But he actually fucking stabbed like a vital organ.
That's fucking horrible, man.
I think now he's like spending
forever,
maybe like over 10 years in prison for that.
Gotta be longer than that, man.
Yeah,
because that kid ain't gonna never have no life. Obviously he's done.
Yeah, he's dead, and he bleeded. Yeah.
They didn't
not that serious.
They didn't lock him up for like forever, because then what if he gets out and has another kid? Do y'all really trust him to have another kid? Like, I don't know. Just lock him up. He's done.
He maybe got like a light sentence because a lot of the Asian people
on that same shit too.
Do that same shit too. So the lawyer is probably like, yeah, I did it to my kid, but I didn't poke him that hard.
Chinese people or China, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Was this in China?
I guess Chinese. Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. But an Asian country.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild as shit, man. That's
he's like, whoops, stabbed a little too hard.
That's like a lot of people in this. I've seen stories too before where there was this lady who killed her 2 kids because one of their kids, she had like 3 or 4 kids. One of her children told her like, "Well, the other ones touched me," and then she just outright just murdered her 2 kids.
Like, what do you mean touch her?
Like molested her. But because I guess she had like kids from multiple fathers, and I guess the kids from the other dad,
they're like older,
like a little bit older. Allegedly molested a younger child, their sibling from another father. And when the mom heard about them, she like outright just murdered the kids and then put them in a freezer for like 2 years. Like neighbors were like, yeah, we haven't seen other 2 kids. Nobody seen them in school. I'm like, damn, don't nobody give a fuck to call? Like, where are these kids at? But the kids were in the freezer for like 2 years. And when she like went to court and they had her on trial and everything, she's like, they touched my child and they had it coming. And I was like, was this even true? Did you just outright just murder your kid? So it
sounds real. It's all that pent up anger and stuff like. But it should never resort to like murder.
Fuck no, I can't.
What's up, Peekaboo? That's Sophie.
What?
What's good, dude? It's been a while.
For real, what's good, man?
But yeah, that's that.
Man, that's a horrible story.
Oh shit.
That's a horrible story. Do I have anything else? Do you?
That's my last one.
Last one.
Man, you missed a lot. Peekaboo.
Yeah, man.
God
do
damn.
I have anything else? I do have other stories, but they might be too long. What we at right now? I could probably squeeze something right quick.
Run it.
Let me see.
Can I pee real quick and then you get your notes together?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be right back. And we're back.
We're back. What's this last story I got? I'm not going to talk about this one. Let's talk about one I know nobody's heard of yet. All right, so this is a story of a Florida man who almost loses his leg to a flesh-eating disease after getting bitten in a family brawl. Yes.
A brawl. Like they were fighting?
Yes. He was at a family function. Family got into a big-ass fight. He got in the middle of it. So one of his family members bit him in the leg. And
he got infected?
Damn. Guy's name is Donnie Adams, 53 years old. He's a funeral assistant. Well, his ass was about to be in a coffin after this because
gotta assist his own self.
Oh, he's assist his own self because he actually got bit in the thigh during a family brawl, and it says the bump that he got from the size of the bite actually got to the size of like $1 coin.
Damn.
It was in his upper left thigh. Basically, the bacteria that wound up getting into the skin basically said it started looking like an orange peel because it was swelling underneath the skin, and it said it happened like within days of him getting bitten at this family brawl.
So like, was it from the bite or like he got bit and then he got infected or something?
Now, from my understanding, it says like the bite the bite wound up breaking his skin, and they said like the bacteria that they found in him does at times can exist on the human skin, but it seems like how that bite and what was on the skin kind of like triggered something in his body, which then caused the bacteria to build up, and his skin was basically starting to rot from the inside out from this bite that he got from a family member, which he did not even he didn't snitch on a family member because the news was asking like, who did it? Who did it? He's like, I ain't saying.
I'm no snitch.
I'm no snitch. I still love my family. He's like, look, things happen. And I'm really big on forgiving people. And I don't want to like, rat my family out for they probably don't even know they even have this right in them. So, so you guys see kind of for the right reasons he kept it to himself. But man, this motherfucker almost became a zombie.
That's what it sounds like.
This is wild, man. Brush your teeth, people. I don't know what's the PSA for this one. It's like just don't go walking
if
down.
I bite anybody and then I get within like their flesh, like if I get blood when I bite them, good luck.
You said good luck after that?
Good luck.
This is
you probably get Morgellons disease.
Man, yeah, right. Because you never know what because mouths carry a lot of bacteria and whatnot. And,
it's like a toilet.
Yeah, man. Well, man, that's why they always say like, rinse your mouth out with like warm water and salt. Let's say soap, warm water and salt. That's actually really good at getting your pH like level balance right and everything.
You ever hear about really like people cleaning their whole sinus system by going to like the ocean, right? And they inhale like the ocean water, and then they would cough it all out, but then they would clean the whole system.
If they can get out the fucking water.
But then like the eyes be all red because like salt water. Then the whole.
Yeah, you ever got in the ocean before?
Yeah,
it's horrible. That shit's disgusting. I would never do that. That shit's nasty. That shit is pure salt. I got in the ocean one time. Just salt. It dries out your skin. No.
Oh yeah, it's like 10,000 milligrams of salt.
Yes.
Bob says, did anyone see the Air Force in Georgia conducting aerial refueling? No. We never even heard about that.
No, I have not. I did not hear about the air. What do you know? What plane it was? What was the air refueling of?
I don't know.
I have no
Big
idea.
Blue says call CDC. Eating those bad coochie.
He's got bad coochie all in the mouth.
What about ass?
Oh, eating butt? Yeah. What if somebody spit in his mouth?
Ew.
I got it now.
Damn. South side.
Go long.
Ew.
Just
that sounds real.
Nah, there's a story I heard years ago. It was this lady cop who tried to arrest lady cop. She tried to arrest this homeless lady, and the homeless lady like spit in her, and a little bit like
that sounds common.
A little bit of spit out of the lady's mouth, and then the lady cop wanted to find out that she had like tuberculosis. She wound up dying.
Ooh, shit.
She died. That's why I'm like
a spit of death.
Man, that's why I'm a huge like believer of if somebody spits on you, fuck them up. Because you don't know what that you don't, man. Look, at least give them ass whooping on the way out.
Imagine like they spit on you, right? But then they're missing two front teeth, and they spit through the front teeth,
through the gap,
like a field goal.
I mean, that's awesome.
Right in your mouth, and that's the last thing you see before you die. Because she got tuberculosis.
So what do you do? The thing is though, like,
well, that's a good story to tell in your hospital bed before you die.
That's horrible.
It's like, yeah, homeless lady, she spit at me through her missing teeth.
Through her meth mouth, and then her meth mouth spit landed in my mouth, and then
I swallowed it because
why not?
Natural human.
I'd have fucking shot her if I was a cop. Whatever.
Then you'd be a racist cop.
Nah, I'll be on death row.
Why'd you shoot her? She spit at me.
And I'm dying because she spit on me. Okay, well, you're free to go.
Is it because she was black?
What actually they would have?
She was black.
So she was? Oh, she was? Okay, yeah, well, you're free to go.
What about that? Huh?
No, actually, no, so like tuberculosis is curable if you catch it on time, but because tuberculosis is one of the things is like back in the Oregon Trail days, that shit would have wiped you the fuck out and your whole family easily. Just dysentery, whatever you call it, all that shit would have killed you easily. But
yeah, I have a story about tuberculosis. So like, we used to go to high school, right?
Yes, I remember
with this one Asian kid who we all did the TB test, and he was tested positive for tuberculosis.
What?
So like, he ended up, I think he dropped out of high school. So I was like, damn, what happened to this guy? Because we all knew he had tuberculosis. He tested positive for that shit. And he was like the tallest like Chinese kid in the whole school.
Dude.
He was Chinese. He wasn't Vietnamese or nothing. He was Chinese. I was like, yeah, he's legit Chinese. I know his sister. She was Chinese
our high school?
Yeah, our high school.
I don't remember this Asian dude.
Yeah, and like later, after we graduated, I found out where he worked at. He worked at, the local Chinese restaurant.
No.
In Lake City, cause I'm not gonna name it, but it's in Lake City. But every time we go eat there, right? we don't call the restaurant by the name. Like, we're kind of like bullies. We're like, oh, we're getting the TB Chinese food. We're like, yeah, we're gonna go.
Hey, y'all ready to go to TB's?
We're going to the Chinese food.
What the hell?
With the guy with tuberculosis.
Why would y'all go?
It has the best Chinese food.
So that was worth the risk.
Yeah. It was the best Chinese food.
The food was so good.
Yeah, and then I would go there. I would see him. I was like, hey, what's up? And then just out there just fucking killing it. Like the food.
To make the food?
Yeah. Like he was legit.
I wouldn't have went there. He might have
but like his story, like he had tuberculosis, but we ate that shit.
I would have went there.
Bob says the good one. Yeah, the good one is in Lake City.
He's like, hey man, how you make your food? He's like, oh, I got secret sauce. I got some secret sauce in it. You guys, guess what it is?
Yeah, but
I spit all in that rice.
He had tuberculosis, and it's out there killing
it. TB food, all right.
Yeah, I didn't care. I was like,
and that little extra flavor.
Like food, like you cook it at a certain temperature, it kills everything.
I wouldn't trust that shit.
It's like, hold on, let me taste it to make sure.
No TB.
Oh, it's good. We'll put it back in.
No TB.
Put it back in. Yeah, but like,
oh man, I didn't know. I thought there was one girl in our high school I thought who had TB when we had the TB, because we used to go to like the gym, right?
Right.
To the TB test.
To get the test.
She was hot as shit. I was disappointed when no, I don't think she had it, but I think they were like, man, we have to take you to another location to give you a double test. I was like, no, she was so hot.
Damn.
I never saw her again after that.
The parents probably took her out to school.
They probably gave her to the government, and now she's in some facility.
Shit. Save the cheerleader.
On some 11 shit. No, it's just some cheerleader.
Save the cheerleader.
No, I remember her. She was cutie. I never saw her again, though.
Do you think she's dead, or?
Patient 0 for TB. I don't know.
You know what's crazy? I always wonder, like, we went to high school with a lot of people. How many people do you think that we went to high school is already dead now?
I think I know, like maybe 3 or 4 already.
3 or 4 already?
Yeah, I know one of the first ones was like this guy. He not too long after we graduated, maybe like 2 or 3 years after we graduated, he went down from cancer. I was like, what the fuck? And that was the first death I remember.
Fast.
Yeah, man, we was fresh out. He didn't even make it to his mid-20s.
Damn, he didn't even go to college?
I don't know.
Shit.
I heard about him dying through my sister, but yeah, and it's been, this ain't stacking up like we all getting wiped the fuck out, but every now and again, even people I've met in the military, it's like, damn, they died? Like, fuck, man, we ain't decrepit yet, we still trying to make it. But yeah, I don't know, a couple people.
That's cool.
A couple people. The last one I heard was this dude, he was like on the cheerleading squad.
I heard about that one.
Yeah, he like died from COVID. This is the last one I heard from our high school. He died from COVID a couple years ago. Shit was crazy. He was athletic too. That was a wild thing. At least I remember he was athletic in high school. I don't know what he was in his fucking 30s, but yeah, man. Did you hear about the story about the girl with TB that was running around like earlier this year? And they couldn't catch her ass. I can't remember what state she ran from, but the damn hospital was like, yeah, we can't find her. We can't release her information because it's her information is protected by HIPAA law. So it's like, but there's a lady running out there with tuberculosis and we can't find her. She went to like fucking Vegas and went to Seattle and went all these places with tuberculosis. She was infected. She like escaped the facility. They just caught her like last week or the week before. But she just ran around for months with tuberculosis, and they couldn't tell.
Wait, so how do you even contract tuberculosis? Is it through like saliva or what is it?
Like saliva. I think it might be airborne too, because it's like a respiratory thing.
If it's airborne, then we all got it.
You know what I'm saying?
We all ate it at that Chinese restaurant.
Because I know TB. They say like it's better for you to live in like a dry climate than it is in a humid climate. I guess it helps with respiratory system or whatever. That's how it was back in like in the Wild West days. If you had TB, they're like, yo, go live in like fucking Arizona or something. Mm-hmm. If not, you're gonna die because it's a respiratory thing, I think.
Stu says, wait, I saw 4 people in Florida tested positive in Florida for something recently.
Oh,
wait, tested positive for?
Just positive in Florida. Was it TB?
Wait, was it for TB?
It might be. I wonder if it's that lady, because the lady was from the South, the one who escaped the facility. I can't remember where, but she was globe trotting all over the U.S. and they finally caught her ass. But it's like, how many people has she? Because she's like the chick Typhoid Mary, the one who had typhoid disease back in the early 1900s. She was asymptomatic, but she was constantly spreading it and killing everyone around her. That would like mainly older people.
She knew she had it, and then she purposely spreaded it.
She's like, they kept telling like, you're sick, you need to turn yourself in. No, I'm not. And she was like a housekeeper, and she was like a housekeeper that was working.
Wouldn't that be considered like attempted murder or what? What would that be considered?
I don't know. That's yeah. Or the criminal neglect, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Because you're not really murdering people, but it's like you know that you're in the wrong. Like if I'm drunk and I drive somebody, it's like I kill somebody. It's like you won't get murdered. It would be like manslaughter, but neglect, yeah, type of shit.
Yeah, that sounds real.
Yeah, so I don't know, but that's what it was. We had like a new Typhoid Mary case recently, but it was with TB, and man, she didn't tell people she got sick. So,
but yeah, we're about to close out. We're like over 2 hours.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys.
Peekaboo.
Savo.
It's been a while.
Katie.
Stu Jersey, the most OG.
Yes, classics came out today.
But yeah, Street Fighter tournament at my house next month.
Damn, we just all right. Be there or be square.
Street Fighter 6 tournament at my house. If you know me, you can message me.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll catch everybody next week on Tuesday. Peace out. Adios. Yo, Stu says send the Addy.
Yeah, I see it.
Hey, message me if you're serious. Let's do it. Peace out. Adios.
See you guys.